Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are going to be discussing the New Year's topics for 2014, which is not very much, which is why there's... Yeah, 2024. Okay.
2014.
Thank you for mansplaining me immediately, Din, who is joining us for the first time for the stream. Say hello, and please check out his channel, which is Omega Dead, but I'm sure he might want to update it now that I mentioned it.
Hello.
Yeah, so yeah. Dun knows his stuff, and because New Year's is like extremely limited in topics, usually I just make a video for this or like bundle up the content with the next discussion. But since I had planned to have Dun join some stream at some time and his schedule never worked out with anyone else, I decided it'd be a good opportunity to just hold a shorter stream with just us two. So enough dithering around, let's hop right into it. Also, let me know if the sound is good. So we are going to be starting off with the ARs. Starting off with the commemorative AR featuring Inaba and Agyo. So I'll be covering this topic, and in summary, what this topic does. You get it from the Osaisen banner, otherwise known as the Offerings banner. So it is maxable, although it is a bit of a pain to max. And when you are hit, you receive glint up to a guaranteeable rate if you manage to max this. And you also take reduced magic damage, so, like, ignore the magic resistance stuff because that shit never actually is important. But the glint can be fairly useful in some cases. So, let's see. You will want to bring this AR on units who can inflict a stackable sort of punishment. So, for example, units that can either deplete HP every single time they're hit, or deplete CP every single time they're hit, or even just have a very low rate debuff that you'd want to boost the rates for when they are hit. And units that would synergize quite well with this AR, even though he can't equip it, you'll want him on the board with this team, with someone equipping this AR. Gurren Gach is a nice, powerful unit that makes all sacrificers and punishers a lot stronger by destroying all range to all the enemies and making them hit you several times. And this will pretty much guarantee that whoever's equipping this AR will get glint up. And as for the actual units equipping this AR, you will want to consider units who can inflict flat damage, such as Horus, his regular 5-star version, or, for example, who can heal repeatedly, such as Kanan Tangaroa. There are also a lot of units that I won't list that can also increase their charge or decrease the enemy's charge every single time they're hit. But yeah, that's like an enormous list. I'm not going to bother with that. And lastly, there is a special case where this can work fairly well uniquely, which is with regular Licho, his 4-star, because he starts off with glint strengthening, and that's usually something he can't access until he blows his charge off. But he can access glint a lot easier this way after being hit, which, presumably he will because he already has that tenacity on move and has that sort of mitigation already built into his kit. Yeah, that's all my thoughts on this AR. Yeah, it's not likely you'll remember what this AR does after this event is done, but there are some uses for it. What do you think, Dun?
Yeah, pretty much agree with what you said. Like, the art on this is super good, though. Do you agree?
It's super cute, and I'm a big fan of Inaba, as some people know.
Yep, that's what I like to hear. The art on this is super good, and yeah, I didn't even think about the when getting hit effects, because usually we're pretty used to OTKing everything or one turn killing everything anyways. But I really like that there's another way to get guaranteed glint now. Like if you don't have prayer from Arc, if you don't have units that give glint easily, if you don't want to waste a slot, you can just put in this AR. You can get glint pretty easily. It's pretty chill.
I mean, usually when you want glint easily, it's to guarantee something. And if you're guaranteeing something, it's probably for quickling, as you mentioned. So it's probably not going to be useful AR. You're probably going to forget what this AR does after this event is done. But I'm doing my due diligence to say if you are using this AR, it's best case scenarios, which is units who are designed to get hit in first place, and units who aren't happily guaranteed because for some reason units exist like that. But yeah.
Is this stackable with the Sweet Dreams AR if someone else wears it? Do you think this is stackable? Because then you can have 20%. Or is it only 1?
So we can see here that Dun, even though he's a very clear speaker, he doesn't necessarily know the mechanics of the game too well. No, then if buffs don't stack, if there's one glint on board, it's not gonna refresh this one, and it's not gonna stack with another glint. Jesus,
I was thinking
Christ.
of the smoky one.
Oh, super glint. That would be 60%
different.
at that point. No, his is 50%, right? And also, he would need to get hit at that point, which... Okay. We'll move on. I'm not here to roast you immediately for something as simple as that, since you only don't know this because you're quick clearing everything anyways, which is honestly the optimal way to play anyways. So, we'll just move on, and we'll talk about the next AR in the batch. So, this is the new seasonal booster AR that released this New Year's Day. And it is equipable on any of the entertainers as well as magic and nun units. It has the effect of inflicting stigma in shot range at phase start, as well as boosting the chance for blossoms to drop, HP or attack blossoms that is, of any tier when the quest begins. So, this AR is extremely good. In fact, it's probably the best kind of AR you could possibly receive, minus the distribution of the actual stats. Like, it's leaning towards HP, which isn't great, but besides that, the fact that we got a damage amp makes it a fantastic AR in general. If you're putting it on magic units, it could really amplify their column clearing potential, such as on there's Makoroik, his Jurassic variant. There's also Jurassic Glaive, which Dun may or may not know about. There's a Jurassic Boogeyman, and any of those magic units or units that happen to be already part of the entertainers can definitely work to just heighten their own complicating damage. Very nice. And then there are also weapon changers who are natively non-range that can still use this as well for their own personal damage. For example, you can actually use this for Ben 10 if you want to actually use her for her magic damage, because she does actually have magic range if you remember that, if you decide to move her. There is also Seepically, who after you move him receives a shot range, and that will just complement them into becoming actual damage dealers to hit and exploit that stigma weakness. In addition to this, it is quite potent on units that are debuff exploiters, and there are two different units that I like to break up for this because they're pretty much the only two that can equip and actually exploit debuffs in the same fashion, which is going to be Jurong, his regular 4-star variant, who can refresh all debuffs for every unit he hits, and this will ensure that Stigma remains on permanently on the enemy. Because Stigma is a debuff that lasts for more than one turn, so it can definitely be refreshed indefinitely. And secondly, you can also equip this AR on Tsukiyomi's Kabukicho Knife Festival variant to spread the Stigma a bit further to enemies who don't already have Stigma. Now, that's a bit more situational since it is not at a guaranteeable rate, and you might actually want to move him as well if you want to take advantage of his native curse, but that's not here nor there. And next off the bat, of course, it boosts blossoms. So you'll most likely, or definitely want to bring this on the most meta of meta units that are possible in this game right now that are relevant for endgame content for blossom farming, such as Oscar, the Entertainer, or Lian and Shi, even, the classic, or begrudgingly, Ben 10, or Showdown variant, as Dune will like to champion. She is good for that if you don't have Oscar.
Yep, she's great. And don't forget your favorite, Andvari.
Yes, I was going to get to that last. Andvari is the most important pick for this AR because he's just a god at big damage, but more important than that, he's the only unit that can boost coins so significantly. And the fact that he can equip, in addition to a rank EXP boosters and the Seed booster from the Invaders Creators one that released a couple seasons ago, now he can also equip a Blossom booster, as well as like a coin booster. He can boost every single resource. It's straight up the most optimal thing you can bring to any farming quest is going to be Andvari with any of these booster ARs, and for Blossom farming, it's going to be Andvari with this AR. So that is all my thoughts for this. What do you think, Dun?
He might just be the best unit in the game now.
He was the best unit in the game before, jeez.
But now it just makes it even better because he can even boost. He can boost blossoms now too.
Yeah, we are stuck with
he can
double
do it
Andvari
all
forever.
Yup, double Andvari meta. Let's start embracing it.
I mean, I've already been doing that for seed farming, and that has been the meta for a while for what's called coin scuffles. Well, I guess only recently with the Summoner's one.
The stigma on this is actually so good too, like since it's 100%. And most people do use magic range units as column clearers these days, more often than not. So that's just broken.
Yeah, it's has a lot more utility certainly than what's called the Wiseman AR, which also had a similar effect of inflicting weakness in like the 4 squares in front of them. So really good for calm clears, but the problem was it wasn't restricted by a calm clear type. It was restricted by world type units, which were too many, and 2 stars or something, and Wiseman, which was like 3 in total, so not great. This one, just in principle, by having that very generous, off the bat calm clearing range, works very well, obviously, with all colors. What do you think of the art?
The art? All I can say is me and who. That's all I can say. It's pretty good. I think this one's one of the better ones. But I think in terms of Blossom Boost AR, the mother and child one still wins out. What are your thoughts?
I think... I mean, the art looks nice and the shading and the pose is nice. I do think they kind of slightly yassified Loki, because I feel like he looks a bit more yaoi in this one. I don't know, he looks a lot more brusque in his edginess. It's like his eyelids are a lot thicker in his actual art. In this one, he looks like he was drawn by some sort of fishy artist, despite most of his other proportions being fairly correct. But the pose is very, there's a lot of chemistry there between those two that is unspoken. Like, I haven't actually read chapter 14 yet, but you can see there's a lot of tension in these two. Good or bad tension, it could be both. And besides that, I also think that the icon is kind of funny because it's completely unreadable zooming out to both of them. It's like...
Usually they only pick one.
Yeah, it's like they tried to copy the fucking Genocider's arc and Babylon one, and then did it really shittily for the icon. Because like the entire thing essentially covers the entire height of the art. I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, it's a bit of a poor man's Genocider's AR in terms of art, but definitely far succeeds it in terms of the actual effect, because the Genocider's one was just healing on departure.
Yeah, no useless, something we forgot already.
Yeah.
But yeah, with this AR coming out though, I swapped out my Ailer slot from B&D to X-Men 10 again. So if you guys want a pretty maxed out one, you can hit me up on Discord. I'll put it in chat. I'll add you guys. You can use it, and and you can finally see how good she is.
Are you so desperate for friends on your list right now that you're asking chat mid-discussion?
No. I'm just advertising Benten because someone has been shitting on her all year, but I think she just keeps getting better when this comes out.
Okay, listen. I wasn't the one shitting on her all year. That was probably Irby. I'm just recognizing over time that she's becoming less and less relevant. And honestly, you might say she can equip this now, but like
this revived her.
We both just agreed that Envardi is better for this, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, it's a fun AR. Definitely max this.
Yeah.
Even if you don't farm blossoms, it's a very strong effect. We'll move on now to the transients. But before that, I'm gonna read up the chat quickly. Probably not too much chats, just ARs. You haven't played the game a lot yet, so you can't say much, but honestly kind of debating on pulling for this banner. Personally speaking, I'm kind of a late game player, and I already got what I wanted, so that's why I was happy to dump a bunch of stones for Qinglong. But I actually don't think it's a very good trade-off to pull for this banner, which we'll get to eventually, since, I mean, we're only talking about 2 of the units, but a bunch of the other units in this banner is kind of mega trash. Azina, welcome. Yo, Oddly. Sounds fine. Thank you for letting me know, Lazy Crow. We came to see you doing not messing up like Joe. Unfortunately, he did not mess up. He's actually doing quite well. So, there will be no Joe opening 2.0. Dune is deep. Yeah, he's quite a clear speaker, impressively so. Probably the clearest speaker among all of us. Well, I'll have to see the playback of this if it actually turns out that way on stream as well. Oh, Jackie, Refly Earphones AR. Nerf Envari.
Yeah, someone's salty.
It's not happening, Harvey, except the Envari meta.
You better start running all your content with 2 Envaris and a coin cat, or else you're missing out.
It's so funny because how fucking awful it is for the game to be forced to play with 2 Envaris now. It's like you're only allowed to bring 2 units down the front line, or you're supposed to bring one of your Envaris in the back and be stuck with a shitty coin or team cost left over in your front slots. It's truly a terrible and hilarious meta. Okay, we are going to continue. Also, welcome back, Bruno. We are going to be continuing off with the Transients. I'm going to be leading off the next topic as well. It's a very brief stream, as you can see. We're already 15 minutes in and already more than half done. We are going to be talking about the 4-star Transient, Amanojaku. And I'll be leading this, as I said. So, Amanojaku is a unit like a Qinglong from this Transient summon that is not free. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to spend some stone to actually receive either this unit or the other one. But we'll see if it's worth it, starting with Amanojaku's kit. I'd like to start off with something that will essentially exist within every single other part of his kit functioning, which is his after buff native triggers, because he does have 9 native buffs, which I can summarize as on arrival, he has movement expansion and buff reversal. A very funny way of describing it. We'll get to it later. Phase start, he has evasion. Post move, he has 3 different buffs: protection, non-buff, strengthening, and arousal. Post debuff, he has Ardor. On charge, he has 2 more limit and movement expansion. And post buff, he has Guts at low rate. So that was a bit rushed, but the idea is he does have a good amount of native buffs. And the reason why it's important is because he has after buff effects. And we'll get to that a bit later, but just recognize that he is one of those units where if you buff him, he'll get his charge up fairly quickly because that is what he does. Alright, so we'll be starting off with his advantage state counter gameplay. So Amanojaku's mythology refers to some sort of a demon that tries to bring out people's darkest desires from them, and is also quite contrarian himself, I believe. He tries to do the opposite if you tell him to do something, and that reflects somewhat in his kit. So he is a damage dealer, but he achieves this partially through some reversal trickery. So he inflicts buff reversals on enemies at a 3 times 2 blocks ahead of himself every time he moves. At a 9% rate, so not guaranteed, but guaranteeable. And that is not something he can activate right away unless the enemy already has a buff. He can activate it on charge with his limit effect, but he builds up like okayly fast because, as I mentioned, he does have 9 native triggers already spread throughout different trigger conditions. In addition to this, he also gets a bit of damage in a very rare circumstance if Amanojaku somehow gets buff reversed himself. He has a buff reversal, which is if he has buff reversal, he deals 12 times more damage and takes 1/100th of his damage received. So if the buff reversal on him is activated, which it probably will be, then effectively, if you just multiply both buff reversal as well as buff reversal as multipliers, that would just be a 3 times multiplier with 0.025 times defense multiplier. Anyways, you don't need to know the exact numbers, but essentially the 12 times value is not as large as it looks. It's really only a 3 times increase in damage if he gets buff reversal. So not really super worth it. And not really something you can plan around either, since it's not too common that the enemy has buff reversal. And it's not even going to be applicable in the Mahakal quest in the main story, just because that's a different kind of buff reversal, so that's a bit silly. And lastly, he also gets a bit of damage if he is debuffed. Note he doesn't have any native debuffs on himself, so that's just something you'll have to exploit either from your team or from the enemy actually debuffing him directly. He gets Ardor every time he's debuffed at a 80% rate. Moving on, he has a bit of damage denial. As I mentioned, he does have that buff reversal on enemies after he moves, but he also has protection to himself and allies adjacent every time he moves up. 90% rate, guaranteeable, not guaranteed. And he can inflict possession on the enemies when he is hit, thus denying their damage, but he will have to take that first hit. Also, it's only 60%, which isn't great, but at least he can do it safely because he starts off every phase at a guaranteed 100% of evasion. And lastly, because of all the buffs he receives, he has a decent chance of bestowing Guts to himself, because he has a 10% chance of bestowing Guts to himself for every buff he receives. That's game. So, we'll return back to the quick charge fill and talk more about it in depth right now. One of the features he has is a unique buff that is irremovable, where it is a non-debuff strengthening. Essentially, if he is not holding any debuffs, then he will get 20 CP per turn, so fill his charge about a 1/5 of the way up. And he only gets this after he moves, and he has to move every turn because it only lasts for 1 turn each. In addition, he has a chance of arousal at 70% every time he moves, which is another 10 CP up. And also Ardor, as I mentioned, which gives a 5 CP per turn after he is debuffed. So he has a number of different charge fill statuses over time. And in addition to that, the key feature of him, which is kind of a more trending feature a lot of kits now, is the 10 CP to self every time he's buffed. So this is getting a lot more universal as this sort of charge or buff dependent charge fill. I'll talk more about it later, but as I mentioned, he has 9 native buffs to trigger that. And it is in fact possible, but quite unlikely to get his charge ready by the start of turn 2. Independently of any other buffs from anyone else. Lastly, he does have extended movement on arrival, which only lasts for 1 turn, despite it lasting for 2. 1 turn subtracted when you arrive. And he can build his charge, as I mentioned, fairly fast to get that up, and refresh it on his charge. So that is pretty much the entirety of his kit. As for recommendations, there's only 1 unit in the entire game, for good reason, who can inflict buff reversal to their allies, and that would be the Trickster mob from the Halloween Police event. So if you're looking for a meme, maybe you'll want to pair them together to activate his buff reversal. That is definitely something you could do. I wouldn't necessarily suggest it, but it has some strength, I guess. He also has, it's nice to bring him specifically when the quest does have buff reversal, though, because there's not really like a super good counter for it, besides just having a bunch of debuff mitigation in general. But if you're gonna get a bunch of debuffs along with buff reversal, sometimes you can't preempt debuff reversal or buff reversal at the time. So you may actually just want to bring Amanojaku in those very, very rare cases, which I'm pretty sure I can't even think of a single challenge quest that ever had buff reversal as an issue. In addition, he does have a high charge uptime, which you may want to exploit with certain ARs, or pretty much just the 1 AR, which is going to be the Balor Shiva AR. It increases the damage that the equipping unit inflicts based on the amount of CP they have. And Amanojaku, thankfully, can actually hold this AR. I would say it's not particularly useful as a whole for any permanent content in the game, although you may find it useful in some challenge quests, but it's kind of mid, to be honest. And I mentioned this in the shorts I released. Well, shorts I will be releasing, as well as the should you pull video I made for this. But I'm not really a big fan of these buff-dependent charge fill mechanics for various reasons, and there's just like a lot of units that have them, and like, for example, even if Amanojaku gets his charge up, what does he get in exchange? He gets like a level 1 limit, which is a 1 times the multiplier, and movement expansion, which, like, movement expansion is only helpful in the first turn. So I feel like there's a lot of buff dependent charge fillers that have very mid charges that is like, why even bother at that point? It's just to like boost the damage based on the base amount of charge, which is not great in my opinion. And I could go on for this, but I'll just leave it there for now. Do you have any additional thoughts, or would you like to add on, or disagree with anything at all?
Yeah, pretty much agreed with what you said. It's just I feel like these days when they make 4 stars, right, they just take in like some ideas and then they put it in, and then they have to put filler stuff into the kit, so it's a 4-star, not a 5-star. Because I feel like he could have been better.
Can you elaborate?
But then he kind of like they could have done more with the buff reversal thing, right? Like, if he was a 5-star, you probably could just give it to himself, like without like the meme thing. Maybe they could increase the damage more. Maybe he won't be thrust range, which is a meme of itself. But I was thinking with this unit, you could probably save it with Oz. Just like every other unit, you could save him with Oz.
You do realize like half his kit is dependent, including the good parts, on him moving, right? His buff reversal is dependent on him moving. Why would you want to use Oz with him? What are you talking about?
Well, the thing is, it says, does it last for 3 turns?
Buff reversal does last for 3 turns, yes. Are you gonna move him first,
so you
and
can move him,
Oz
you can get it, and then you can move Oz.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, if you like him.
I think you're misunderstanding how strong Oz is. Just because Oz can make everyone orange doesn't mean he should. Look at this kid. You can save him. He doesn't have a single ability that inflict is activated after attacking, and you're saying use Oz? Are you serious?
He just needs the buff reversal. He just needs the buff reversal on him. You could do it. Like, You see, I tried to pull, I didn't get him. If I did get him, I would do it for an HDQ meme.
You know there's already a unit that can inflict buff reversal on hit, right?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Dinner is cooking, but I will pass on eating it. I will pass on what he's cooking. Well, it's nice to see that there are some holes in your knowledge of this game.
Yeah.
Well, let me know that.
Honestly, these days, whenever they launch a unit and I see thrust range, I just feel like it's just automatically dead out of the gate.
I mean, what's called?
Most.
I agree. As a whole,
most, yeah, like 90%
that
of the thrust
true for the most too. Though they've definitely made them a bit more usable, like with Taromaiti's Evo, if you remember that, but you probably don't, to be honest, because you don't use her. But yeah, she's very strong.
I mean, V Jacob was good. He's like because of the board wide buff reversal thing, but like otherwise,
I mean, he's like good Ulan, not because of his range, but despite it, right?
OG Ulan was like I really like this kit, and then it was thrust range. So it's like can't really use him. Unfortunate.
I mean, the idea was he was supposed to build up his charge fast enough for phase 3 of the Ramu quest to be able to get his short range charge, which is like really shitty. It's like what I was hitting at with Amanojaku. Like this sort of buff dependent charge fill is super stupid and unreliable. It has so many problems with that. Between not being able to fill your charge with buffs that they're already holding, or the rates being shit, or the charge itself not being incredible, it's just not worth it for the most. I know some people are doing those Masashi memes, and he's a rare example where the charge is good. But let's be real, Masashi's charge fill is like at a 50% rate. It's terrible. Like seriously, what is this garbage? It's such a shitty recurring mechanic, and I don't know why. I feel like Milk, at some point LifeWonders spies saw Milk hyping up Kagutsushi's original charge mechanic, and they're like, let's put that in every single unit. And
yeah, and then they nerfed it. Then they nerfed it.
They especially nerfed it for the most recent Ulan Butter Oedo Christmas range, which was like, what was it even again? Like fucking 6 CP at like 50% rate. It was not impressive by both accounts in terms of magnitude of CP gained as well as the rate. It was just not good.
But yeah, so I hope for 2024 for the rest of the year we better not see any thrust range units. Thank you, LW. just praying right now.
Doesn't even matter nowadays if there's thrust range nowadays, because if half the time they just like use Oz, as long as Oz gets weapon changed or weapon native type doesn't even exist anymore or matter anymore rather. And some units even like straight up just have weapon change built into the kits, like fucking Benton being non-range, except she's not really non-range. Same thing for Oscar.
Yep.
But yeah, we will. I will read the chat. I think we're done yelling about how buff defense charge fill is a shit mechanics. Hola, J-Bear, welcome. Nissan. Yeah, I like his voice filtered voice acting. It's pretty edgy in a funny way. 10%. That's a 90% chance to do nothing. That's how I feel for farming every single time. I do like the buff debuff gimmick on units. I feel like it could have been better executed. There's like a lot of potential to make like a reversal based unit that reverses the fortunes, but this is definitely it's kind of underachieving in many ways. Like Dun was absolutely right where he could have started with buff reversal to make it a lot more apparent. Of course they don't want us to have someone with too strong native damage, but like it's only a 3 times multiplier at that point. And like I don't know, for reversal things that possession, like you want him to get hit, but it's only 60% really, and he has no way of boosting his own rates. And I feel like something like a preemptive possession would have been better than waiting for yourself to get hit first. It's a bit silly. So you have to wait until turn 2 to exploit that possession. Not great. Anyways, I'm digressing. The best guy is here, and one of the hottiest of the hot. Yeah. Let me know when they get here. Waiting for didn't say some Omega Lol out loud.
Oh my god. You can't just do him like that, it's so dirty.
Nah, I do that all the time. I'm sure he's used to being stepped on like that.
Yeah, I bet he likes it too.
Yeah, just like he liked being on stream with us last time and getting spit roasted by everyone, including himself and the entire stream and all the chat viewers. Amanojaku feels too gimmicky to be worthwhile. I wouldn't even say he's gimmicky. It's just like they tried to go for a gimmick, but it doesn't even feel like a gimmick. It just feels like a regular kit. Buff reversal by itself isn't really all that valuable, and he really doesn't do anything with it without weapon change or charge or Qinglong. Yeah, incidentally, you're right. It does naturally pair with Qinglong, which is why I'm playing footage of him with Qinglong, because he automatically activates the buff reversal with the glint on all the enemies. Raise your hand if you have middling rates for CP boosts. As done set a Twitch
half
emote.
the roster raises their hand.
Harvey is alleging that you have said some sort of Twitch emote, or saying that you're likely to. Have you said one yet? I feel like you might not have.
No,
but
I have not.
no skulls or let him cook. Actually, you did say let him cook just a second ago. Well, that's not really a Twitch emote. Such.
It is. It kind of is, but it's okay. Let's not talk about that.
From your guild server, yeah.
It's a good one. It's the Woody thing.
Yeah, I remember it.
If you ever watched Toy Story, that was good.
Everyone saw Toy Story, and it was kind of mid, to be honest. Oz my beloved.
What? Okay.
Okay, 100% my ass. It did not receive that critical cocaine. Like, let's be real. Seriously, it's just fucking bizarre ass toys talking about, I don't know, how they want to shove themselves up Andy's ass. Oz my beloved. Help. You move Oz when Oz's CP is at 100, so all skills are guaranteed. Oh yeah, I just remember. He's also a terrible pair with Oz just because he gets his charge up fairly often. So you're not gonna be all ranging him half the time when his charge is up. Jesus Christ.
Hey, that's where Licho comes and fixes that issue too.
That's fucking terrible. Just stop.
We will fix this issue with Licho. Alright.
Not everyone is Oswald, just stop. Nice cooking. Yeah, he's cooking last week's leftovers. Alex, my brother, spit your shit indeed. Tara is useful when she's not stress range. I mean, she's pretty useful at stress range, but she's like omega busted when she is all range. Tara may be a good unit, but it's definitely not because of her range. Yeah. I mean, they definitely made her compensate because of her range with that skill lock spread. Very strong status as a result. And, you know, of course, even without Oz, she's still very powerful with Wakan Mugen as well as what's called Smoky God to guarantee all her utility effects. So she could be good for bosses, if anything, without Oz. Harvey, why didn't you join the stream? Because I didn't actually invite anyone from our normal cast for the stream. I mean, come on, we have... Let's list the topics. 2 ARs, one of them being commemorative, like 3-star AR. Amanojaku and Qinglong. Like, at best, that's like 3 people I can invite, and 2 of them I'll be forcing to talk about a different AR each. And nowadays, I try to bundle up as one. I did invite Erita to join the stream, but he wasn't really feeling like during this time, unfortunately. But essentially, the idea was because New Year's was predicted to have a very short discussion list, which, you know, it's only 3 minutes in and we're already at Qinglong. We're getting there. Because of that, I decided to just invite, like, you know, some people I have had my eye on to join for a while. A smaller crew, essentially. That's the baby like. He baby, though. Yeah, he's pretty cute. I sadly don't know the strats. You just float around. You're floating. But sounds very interesting. If you don't know what we're talking about, I mean, you can get like a vague idea, at least by watching the footage. I'm very glad I added that feature in these streams.
Yep.
Shut up. Oh, not you, sorry. I was talking about Joe. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, this fool. And I feel like he comes back for, like, just to be bullied even more. Because, like, let's be real. There's no way he can't expect us to bully him at this point. How is Bale still the best buff reversal unit like 2 years later? I don't think he even is anymore. Like, he's pretty mid. The only reason you don't use
Jacob for that because he can apply it to the whole board.
Yeah, Jacob would be the best now. You're
Jacob's
correct.
Number 1 now.
So, like, why would you, even if you did inflict buff reversal on attack, why would you want to Oz Amanojaku? I still don't get what you're cooking. What the hell are you cooking, dude? Jeez.
Don't worry about it.
Joe wishes he can be done. Steven does a thing, Kay. Huh? What if unit design as of late is intended to be anti-Oz synergy? Some units are built in like that, but it's fine because we still have tons of units that do have Oz synergy. But Fafnir is an example because he resists weapon change, but Fafnir is super busted anyways with his buff hoarding. Essentially like a condensed hyper form of Tangaroa, Kanan, as well as Itsana together. Demon does, I rated that. But at best, I can talk about how good the art is. This art's okay, I guess.
The art is pretty good.
Yeah. You'll be like, yeah, he looks good in art tier strips. So true. It's a good thing you got Jacob on your grab like stonks.
Yeah, congrats.
I did some pull.
Honestly, a decent unit.
Yeah, I thought he was kind of mid on before, but he actually does have decent synergy with units like Gordon Gush as an example. Defensively, it's just you got to think of him not as an offensive unit, but as a defensively very potent unit. Shut up, Harvey. No, speak up, Harvey. The truth must be spoken. All right, we are finally going to be finishing off with Qinglong, and this is going to be Dun's very first time he'll be leading a topic. So please jump in whenever you're ready.
All right, now we're getting to the point of the banner with what everyone actually pulled for and not the rest of the trash on the banner. All right, I'm going to cover Qinglong. So he is kind of an all-rounder, but his best job is to be a board-wide damage amp and a sub-DPS. He gives himself concentration, so when you look at his kit, you can just add 10% to everything. His main gimmick to add damage to the whole board is that he gives concentration to everyone, as well as himself, and glint advantage by giving all the enemies glint on phase start. He can, and as I said, because he has the 4.4 multiplier, he can also be a damage dealer. But to be a damage dealer, you have to shuffle him around, because if he's stationary, he's going to be blow range. But if you shuffle him, he will be shot range. Walter replace? Not yet. Alright, so first we can cover his damage potential.
If you can help it, please read the chat after everything else is done. You don't get distracted too easily to do that.
Alright. So first we can talk about his damage potential. In his kit, he has flat damage decrease before hitting at 4,000, and then another 1,000 that he can steal off of, so we could just add together. We can add it together to 5,000 most of the time, because the last 1,000 has a 70% rate. So after adding the flat damage on, at shot range, he does about 11k per square, and that damage is good enough to do dailies with. At blow range, it does 20k single target, and on his charge, if you get to his charge, it does about 66k. And his charge, as you can see, it has a 5k flat damage included in that 66k. It heals all enemies, all allies for 2k, removes all debuffs encircling around him, and it is pretty hard to get because he does not have any CP buffs outside of the immobility when you do move him, and most of the time you are not moving him. He is also an okay defensive unit as well. So because after he moves, he gives tenacity to himself and allies, but you only want to move him on odd turns, because if you move him on even turns, he's going to get immobility, and then that means you can't move him again. And also after moving, he gives himself adamantine. He can also mitigate debuffs. So he does damage, he can be a tank, he can also mitigate debuffs. The most important being on miss, apply purification to self and allies. So you definitely, if possible, you don't want to move him, so that way he can be blow range, and that way he can miss and apply purification. After the end of the move phase, he also gives himself nullified debuff, and he is also immune to charm and possession. After that, when he does hit enemies, if you were to move him, he skill locks the units. He has movement expansion on miss, although you probably won't be using this much because it's similar to Yoritomo's, where you can't really use it on the first turn, and he has to miss. And when you do move him on even turns, he gets immobility, as I stated earlier, so that means he gets 12 CP at the end of each turn. And that's the main way he would get his charge if you don't use units like Ryota. And moving to his 3-star variant, so even if you can't get the 5-star, try to get his 3-star, because he is by far the best 3-star mentor in the game now, with concentration buffing, purification to avoid the possession in the dungeon. And that pretty much should be his kit. So now I will talk about how you can use him. So since he's an all-rounder, you can really use him for anything. He does damage, he buffs allies, he's relatively tanky, and he can remove debuffs. So you can use him for HDQs, dailies, dungeons, and everything. But maybe not in farming blooms, because he can't really wear any boosters at all. So unless you're willing to wear the Salomon AR on him, he's not really good for that. but he's really, really good in dungeons. That's where you probably mostly want to use him, mainly because he has decent damage, the board wide amp, so you don't have to move too much, and the nullifying debuff and the purification. The best AR he can wear, if you pulled on this back then, was the Kurogane AR, the Kurogane Nomad AR. That AR applies concentration to allies, but more importantly, it has concentration strengthening. And that, paired with him, makes for a very, very potent combo, because now he can give concentration to the entire board, and he gives he gives all his allies concentration strengthening. So if you pull that AR, or if it ever comes back and you want something really good on him, you can consider that. And synergy-wise, he just pairs with anyone, really. Anyone that doesn't really overlap with his buffs of concentration, he can be paired with. So Wakane, Kirito, Zalato, Fuchi, Halp. And personally, I think the best way to play him would be playing him not moving as just a buffer, and then more buffers and one hyper carry. So you can play hyper carry like Ben 10 or Oscar, because they both want concentration, and you can stack buffs on them and they can just delete everything. So yeah, that is my coverage of Qinglong, the Azure Dragon. What do you guys think?
Did you want to elaborate more on his 3-star or nah?
First 3-star, I think it's fine. He just got that mentor. He has the purification, so you can avoid the possession on turn 10 on the new dungeon. And I think that's like the most important part that people should know of.
I guess you're not thinking he'd be that useful in other dungeons, and his best one would be the Sacred Site.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that. But yeah, I'm not sure if he mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure he didn't, since I was surprised he mentioned some other AR. Because he's not just a mentor, he's a mentor that can equip one of the 5-star card EXP boosters. So he is able to equip the one that only a Varga was able to equip before, that is to say, the Missionaries Zabanyas Jacob AR.
Oh yeah, that one, the Zabanya and Jacob one.
Yeah, so if you're sick of seeing Triton on the board instead from support, you can now bring Qinglong instead, especially if you are already using your own Triton on front, because he synergizes quite well with Triton. So I actually do have a separate section just for his 3-star kit, because I know this isn't quite as important for other people, but for the min-masters out there, it certainly does matter, because Qinglong happens to be one of the better mentors in the game. So
best.
Yeah, he still has his damage amp. It's not board wide anymore. But the fact that he has a damage amp that's guaranteed out of the box is incredibly gifted, given the fact that our damage amps from existing mentors before were weakness from Sanryu at 80%, and shot range, while he was Infernal could get fucked over, and also did not synergize with the dead at all, since he had Blessing Weakening. Or with Jin, what's called 40% vigor after being hit, or Triton at 28% ardor after being hit. They're truly terrible, miserable rates, and you needed to get hit for them. What the fuck? With Qinglong, it's guaranteed out of the box, and it also boosts the rate. And because you'll be stacking this with a bunch of other boosting ARs, you'll necessarily be taking the Beast Tamer's booster AR as well, which bestows Glint, which stacks with concentration in terms of effect rate boosting. So that also just improves the efficacy of the trash rates that exist within Jin and Triton and all that. Particularly with Triton, because I kind of hate playing with Triton, except for as just a unit that can gather aggro, because all his rates are major dude. There's not a single guaranteeable one with regards to his protection or his evasion or his ardor or his C+ generation or his buff removal. It's all very terrible, but at least with both Qinglong as well as the Beast Tamer's booster with Glint, all these rates from all your units can be a lot more royal, and I think that is a godsend. In addition, he does have the debuff mitigation. We did talk about how he can resist possession, but he also has the ability to nullify debuffs on, or rather bestow nullify debuff on self after he moves. Yep. So that combination of nullify debuff on self as well as purification on self on miss lets him actually deny 2 different debuffs every turn, which is nice because it is actually kind of hyper cancer for example, the Shinjuku dungeon, where you can't even block fear half the time, because you'll just get, you'll block curse, which comes first when doubles, and then you'll get feared. In this case, you're able to block 2 different debuffs, so he's actually quite good for a Shinjuku as well, theoretically. I haven't tried him, but this is the theory about it. And I don't think he'd be too good for the Ikubuku dungeon, but he does have his uses. He can, for example, bestow tenacity at a guaranteeable rate, and if you're just moving him behind someone constantly, then you can both get your thrust range up as well as, increase the defensive unit in front of you at a guaranteeable rate, which is nice. Better than Triton's ES 60% protection rates. And, because he's in back, he won't get hit at all in the Ikubuku dungeon, so that's nice. Would he be good on the Aoyama dungeon? He actually would, because the biggest threats there are what's called the lack of range, which he to hit the phase 2 or phase 5 angel, which he can get with thrust while having a bit of damage with concentration. And he is also able to deny skills, including the debilitating ones, such as the HP drain from Aoyama, as well as the guts denial, or them getting guts when they're hit or before they're hit. I think they'll get guts first, but still, it's nice to deny them their skills to inflict a flat damage on you in the first place. And also, it's guaranteeable. It says 70%, but you have to remember, he gets concentration, so that's 80%. He can get glint, which he will from the what's called the card AC booster for the Beast Tamers they are. So that's 90%, and you can skill seed him for 100%. So, his most important parts of his kit, including the very debilitating ones for the enemy, it's all guaranteeable. It's fantastic. Incredibly strong unit for dungeons if you know what you're doing, and if you think it's actually worth doing mentor runs, of course. But yeah, that skill disabling is very useful for any of the dungeons, but particularly it just has the highest impact in the Aoyama dungeon, which no one does because it's hyper cancer because of all those extremely annoying effects between what's called the HP drain and the rate down and all that.
Yeah, I think that they made the skill lock thing in just for HDQs. It's really useful in there as well.
Yeah, and he has...
if you don't want the enemy units acting on you.
We're talking about the 3-star. We'd be using the 5-star if it was an HDQ. But yeah, it's very even stronger in his 5-star for sure. Although I'd be using Termite in that case. But yeah, you can... let me see what my other than say. Yeah, particular synergy with Triton, that's good. Skill seed and concentration glint, very essential synergy to have. And, it works both ways because everyone... Qinglong himself can also bestow glint if you actually care about his mentor movement ability. It will be to the unit beyond, which is always a kind of a shit rate, but the fact that he can bestow 2 different rate boosts at all on his own is kind of incredibly rare for a 3-star, so very nice. And yeah, overall he's just fucking excellent in all dungeons. Yeah, that's all my notes on the 3-stars, which enough said, right? I also would like to add that he... by the way, this is the feedback section, so feel free to jump in whenever you want to add more.
Okay.
He does have a... what's it called? He has a disproportionately low attack stat. And the significance of this is that, he's only breaking 10,000 damage. That's including his flat damage for, comp clear thing, which is not great. It's because his only amps are his global amps. But because his attack stat is so low, if you decide to level seed him and attack seed and blossom him, he disproportionately benefits from it and essentially gets a full, nearly 2 times multiplier. It's a 1.8 times multiplier if you fully build him. So, good investment.
Call that one the Zhurong effect.
Yes, the Zhurong effect. He did it first.
Yep, he did it first. So he's the same way. You get me? Never
forgetty. So I might work on him one day. Allegedly, we'll see. He's kind of a
yeah, I would have 2,000 if I had him.
Could you rephrase that, but in the same way that Timmy Turner's dad did? If I had one!
If I had one, I would have plus 2,000 him.
I'd also like to clarify, just by the raw numbers, since I actually do have a running list in my own personal notes, he has the 2nd strongest board-wide amp in the game. Second to Welcome Tonka Mugen. And
because he pairs extremely well with.
Yes, because he gives concentration to all his allies, which actually guarantees Welcome Mugen's own buff spread, so you don't even need to bring Smokey in that case. And then he'll be able to spread, all his other buffs too, including back to Qinglong. So it's just a ridiculous amount of synergy between those two. It is a bit redundant because Welcome Tonka Mugen can of course bestow concentration on himself, but that's only like a 60% rate, and it was only guaranteeable if you're bringing like Smoky God or something. And at that point, you might actually just want to, if you don't need the full 50% boost, and instead you'd like, a higher boost potential than just like nourishment and a late concentration, then you can use Qinglong for both the early concentration as well as this wind strengthening. So it's like a nice trade-off between those two. If you want like less rate boost for more damage. And earlier damage, of course. But yeah, because who was second place before was a tie between Shalottle's on Hot Spring Gradient as well as
also
Fushi.
4x, right?
Yeah. So it was just like 4x ceiling, and then Wakon Takamigan having privilege sipping his wine at the top. But now Qinglong breaks that barrier too. So it's definitively like just like this is the most combination you can bring in terms of damage and board wide. These two units. And as for the local amp, you can see on screen I'm using Labe for this footage. He actually does have the strongest local amp when moving, and he's tied with Lian and Shi as the strongest local amp at a base at least. But Lian and Shi does more eventually because of course, the limit of effect where she drains the HP, and they do slightly more. Of course, that's negligible, so Labe is generally gonna be better. But at least with Lian and Shi, you're not like limited to not moving Labe. Although I guess the reverse could be true with Lian and Shi, where maybe you want to have a unit you can move instead of Lian and Shi. But either way, both.
And I see that you're using Bear Streamer.
Yeah.
God unit.
Honestly, I probably should have used Oscar 3-star for this one. Because it's like, if I was going to be moving live stream anyways, then it's like, Shalada would have been around equally as effective anyways. But at least with Oscar, that's like something you wouldn't have been able to replicate without Qinglong with that damage number. Because, obviously you can't move Oscar and all that for Shalada, so that would just be like an excellent demonstration. It was too late though, I already recorded footage, but you got it. It would work. I did test it out. Oscar 3-star does clear with this much amp as well. So very cool.
Now that I think about it, do you think this is like the best all-rounder unit they've ever released? He just does it. He just does everything.
Maybe I didn't think too much about it like that. Like the last time I thought a unit about being a do everything unit was probably Labe. Although I always thought
Labe from last year for sure, because he also does a little bit of everything with the heal and the buffs and the damage.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? He doesn't really get his charge up that fast, Qinglong, so he's not going to be healing his allies that often. He still has a bunch of do everything utility, but okay, maybe not do everything, but you're absolutely right that he can pretty much do every category of quest. That's how I rated him. Dungeons, yes. Challenges, yes, obviously, with board wide. Farming, yes, although as you mentioned, you might have to sacrifice a Blossom Booster, or you might have to use one of the common boosters. And
you could just use Salomon, yeah, that's what that's for.
Or, the 4-star Blossom Booster. And, dailies, of course, yes. So he really is acceptable and, excellent in every sort of quest. Definitely, he's like very close to must pick for me. I'm not going to betray what I said about Labe. Harvey was very angry at me earlier when I was saying about how Labe wasn't the best unit this year, and it was Oscar. It's because Labe's roles are ultimately replaceable, and I do feel like Qinglong, even though he doesn't like have a bunch to the table of combinations that's fairly unique, like every single individual thing he does isn't like super exceptional. Like Wakon Takamikan does better board wide amp, and he's far from being like the strongest comp player personally. And of course there's Taramighty, which just has better effects when it comes to actual utility effects, because in addition to that skill lock, she also removes buffs at the same time. But Qinglong is like, he does everything very well, but ultimately he is replaceable, which is why he's like just at the very, very, very edge of must-have, but not quite. That is what I think.
But I still think this banner is worth pulling just for him, though.
This is the Honkai mindset. We're so used to having like a bunch of new units every single time, and now you're just like, oh, there's just one good unit. Like, screw the fact that we have fucking Toji and Valentine Shiro in the same banner. Shit's garbage. It's like I want to tell people to pull this banner, but I can't say so in 100% good faith because of how trashy other reprinted units
as long as they hit one of the 5s, it's like acceptable. As long as they can hit a 5-star, even Christmas Fushi is fine.
Okay,
right? Like
in outside context, yes, but within the context of post-mo, it's like we're used to consolation prizes. We're used to getting something, at least something new in the end that's decent. There is no consolation prize for playing this.
There isn't. If you don't get 5-star, you just lose.
Yeah, it's a big L otherwise, which is why I emphasized, don't pull for the 5-star necessarily. It'll be nice if you get him, but I'd say it's still worth playing at least for the 3-star. But again, that's mostly a statement just for min-maxers. Because otherwise, he's a permanent unit. Maybe we'll just get him off banner at some point. The 3-star in particular.
Bring back last banner. Touring is the best consolation prize you can ever get.
I mean,
and they will never top that.
I thought Horus was better, but that's just personal preference at this point. I know everyone was hyped over Touring, but whatever. Right. Anyways, I have talked to death about Qinglong, and I have sucked his dick. Not quite enough, so I'm gonna be doing that after stream. But I think I sucked it enough, decently enough on stream. So feel free to read out the chat, done, and then close off the stream after. Do you remember where we were?
Let's see. Where did you go? Where did it end off? I have to scroll up. Where did it end? Where did it end? Do you know? You remember?
This fucking thing. It's like neither of us are prepared. So there's always someone else who's reading chat and is more attentive to this, but if it's just me, I'm terrible at paying attention where we are. I think we were at... Tarot is useful when she's not stress range. Yeah, maybe that point.
I'm gonna start from Harvey.
Yeah, I don't know. Just start somewhere. I don't know.
Where he says like, he replaced my Walter already. Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Vaguely there, yeah.
Great with, yeah. See, another Dragon Daddy, exactly. Bishiro's a good unit. Okay. Harvey, I don't use Walter. Well, I do. Too bad. I don't have leave, so I have to use Walter. Unlucky. Great first time. Thank you. High pitched kung fu noises. I'm too shy. L plus skill issue. Don't you want to boost your confidence again? Yeah, I think we should invite him back again. You know.
Yeah, I actually did invite him, and I don't know why he was so reluctant, but he did so great last time.
Thank you, Zavi. So feel like it's not a competition. It is, and I know I won.
The hubris.
Licho Gang rise up, thank you. Just park that just rub in the back and let the enemies go ham, alright? I'm not good at explaining stuff, you just gotta practice. You'll get used to it. You have his 5 and not his 3. Just keep pulling, get a dupe. Listen to the voices. Alright, you even though he doesn't even charge, just get a dupe. Sitting there and saying nothing for emotional support. What are you saying, Aura? Forefather will carry. I think that was when we were talking about the
Triton's forefather is the 26%
Triton,
auger.
yeah.
Hyper shit. But if you ask Irby, it's the greatest skill ever. So
yeah, now that I think about it, remember when there was Ardo on every other unit in the past, but now recently they haven't done that anymore.
I mean, thankfully they seem to be diversifying it, but that as a result of just
they're finally diverse. The new trend I've been noticing was they like to do these board wide buffs now for everyone.
I mean, that was a trend we identified ages ago, but thanks for that input. Yeah. But I do think it is a bit of a loss that they stopped making Ardor so ubiquitous. I know most people hate it being ubiquitous, but the consequence of democratizing every single other buff is that it's like this game's like it was already easy before, but now it's like too fucking easy.
Yeah, now it's even it's so easy. You just
too many combinations work. Seriously.
Yeah.
It used to be
that's fine. It's supposed to be a husband collector game, anyways.
That's true.
All right, let's see. I need a mentor that can use Kuli. Okay, you can use Triton. You can pair it with Oscar and go ham. Yeah, and Ben 10. You're welcome. Teacher Office Dragon Gilf. Exactly. Zurong benefits from level and attack speeds. Qinglong, write that down.
That's exactly right. Zurong, the predecessor.
It named Summer Tindy. Alright, Summer Tindy's good, but like, do you really want to use Tindy?
I mean, you don't, obviously, given I used yours and he was hyper shit. I think Harvey's just alluding to the fact that is a...
Yeah, Harvey's is maxed.
I mean, he's
okay, mine is not even shit. It's just bad because you were trying to run him over like 30 cycles. You were just trying to run him over like 30, 40 cycles.
That's
no
like
shit.
The whole
it's
point of Tindalos, though. Even in his original kit pre-Evo, his entire thing was just like eating a bunch of damage over a long time because that was his only thing. Damage mitigation, extreme damage mitigation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but at that point, I just use evasion.
I think he's alluding to the fact, though, that Tindalos, even with like attack seating and level seating, wasn't too great, despite having the lowest attack stat in game, precisely because it was the lowest attack stat in game.
Oh, I see. That's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine having Qinglong V2. Can't relate. This is brought to you by the Qinglong 5 Havers. I'm stealing it.
One must imagine
love
Qinglong non-havers
love
happy.
his design. He is a slight alter of Yeet's OC, but it's great because it follows the mythology thing of the Azure Dragon and like the 3 other mythical beasts and whatnot.
Yes, it follows the mythology of how Azure Dragon's based off an OC. Yes, I remember that in religion class.
Barong over there looking like a Ross OC. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that. So this means there's finally a good unit to put on wood support other than X-Nomad. Correct.
There's been good units for a while. There's Avarga. Okay, maybe not him, but
there was X-Nomad.
There's Ryota.
There's also X-Ryota.
Like Ryota,
but, like, not a lot of people have it.
Let's be real.
This is like...
No one's gonna put up fucking Behemoth, even if he's better, just because it's fucking Ether slot. It's forever Anvari's like whore house at that slot. So by default, Ryota has to take the wood slot.
Yup, so Ryota, and now finally Qinglong. Yes, everyone should be putting him up. He's a great as a support slot. He may be replaceable gameplay-wise, but consider he's hot and I want it. Getting Fuxi and Banner. Thank you, Zo. That's exactly how we all felt when we got everyone got 3 copies of Fuxi.
This is now an anti-Fuxi stream.
And now Zurong. Dude, I was trying to pull for Zurong's 21 South, and then I just giga missed. I got 3 Fuxis instead and gave up. I should not have done that, in hindsight.
Your Fushi's so strong.
Better and the Fate Banner isn't that anymore. I know. You're so right, I'm taking a U-turn and propagandizing S-Sleeve being so bad so less people use it for hipster points and he'll get a Skevo while Boogie gets left in the dust. Yeah, you know, I'm never leveling my Boogie that I got
you
from
know
that
what,
banner.
Harvey? You scheme that, and while you convinced everyone that Summer Lab is bad, I'm sure some other Lab stan will take over as, his #1 stan. So go ahead.
Yeah, just you wait. Everyone's laughing until Muro actually gets Jamba this year. Jamba Skevo, and it just turns out to be broken.
Let go.
Let it go. He gets the last laugh. Muro getting the last laugh here. And then Vishiro could have gotten the Skevo, but no, unlucky.
Valentine Shiro 8 fucking nothing this event. Why is he
sucks to suck.
It really does suck to suck. Have you seen this kid? It's hilariously bad.
Wait, let me pull it up again.
You get nothing.
Wow, that is actually terrible. Because when you guys talk about Shiro, I only think about J Shiro, which is like the actually decent one.
No, his Valentine one is just like he received 2 Evos and still pretty hyper shit.
Oh, Chanel. Alright, let's see. Thank goodness there's no PvP. Yeah, there shouldn't be. The units are not designed for that kind of stuff unless they make new units just for PvPing. Qinglong hitting that sweet spot in my pull and attack value. That's all I like to hear. I'm tired of seeing Andy on my support list. Okay, that's why I put up X-Ben 10 for you to use. And it's Shiro getting exactly what he deserves. Thank you, Harvey. You know, I agree. We should get a second.
Okay, you're not allowed to say that, Dun. You're not allowed to say that. According to Dun here, he didn't even read the story. This motherfucker, Jesus Christ. He's just here playing the game without reading the story. So you don't know what Shiro's like. You don't know how base Shiro is. Fuck off with that. Okay, we are...
Banned.
Okay, the rest is real for this one. We are done talking and covering these topics, so we are gonna close off the stream now. Yeah, this is the correct scene. Oh, alright. So, Dun, my dear, what did you think about this event and the other pickup banner, as well as Qinglong and Amanojaku and I guess the offerings banner? I'm not gonna ask you about the story because I know you don't read the story. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, despite of you saying the banner is bad, I'm still tell people to pull on it just for the dragon. It's worth it.
Honkai mindset, right?
99% of gamblers quit before they make it big. You will get the dragon, or you will die trying. That is my conclusion for this event.
So I guess that makes you dead then, since he didn't get him after wasting 250 stones.
Yes. Not yet. His banner's not over yet. You don't know. Give me some time.
Okay.
You don't know yet.
Copium.
I got Gangly on a ticket after whiffing 200 stones. You never know.
Yeah, well, because you wasted it on Gongle instead of saving it for Jurong.
Yeah, I know. I kind of wasted my luck on Gangly instead of...
Why would you want to pull for Gongle when you know Jurong's right there, and also...
Okay, but I needed someone good in my nether slot.
You really
that
didn't.
Wasn't leaked because you already have him.
You really didn't, but okay. Like,
Right.
Enjoy your column clear 5-star, I guess.
Yeah, you say that. I can't even joke about it anymore. I'm like, you say that until like blah blah blah. Next chapter, 3x6 attack Blossom. But now we have Andy that can wear the bloom thing anyway.
Seriously,
so that just
Jesus
got
Christ!
That
And
just
it's like
got
two of them
completely
are just
ruined.
like, we have 10 billion other column clears. Do we really need Gongle? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, but he's hot, so I had to.
But wait,
pull
let
it,
me
my
repeat
bad.
that. Yeah, but.
My bad. He's hot.
All right.
Also, that banner was legitimately good to pull on.
It was good.
Way better than
it
this
was
one,
good, but like,
value-wise.
let's be
It was-
real.
It was Horus.
You pulled for
It was
utility,
Turi.
and you got utility. So there you go. Just like in 2021 or whatever, or 2022, you got excellent units, and then you got shit fucked when the units you actually thirst for came out. This is what happens.
Yeah, but I did use so many stones and I still whiffed, so it's just unlucky. This game knows what I want and doesn't give it to me.
Zhirong and Qinglong know your unfaithfulness. this is why they didn't come out.
I got Zhirong relatively quick, like 300.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I was
It-
actually
it
thinking
only
about Jill.
took me-
For a
it only
second.
took me-
I was thinking about Jill by
But
that.
the extra was from trying to get a dupe, and I whiffed because Fuxi happened.
Fucking Fuxi, dude.
The cancer happened.
Cancer
It was an anti-Fuxi
spreads.
stream.
Only Sama. He's here to make sure everyone's stuck in the laundry machine. Okay, I think.
But yeah.
Well, I didn't give my
do you
thoughts
think?
on this New Year's yet. Actually, I also give my thoughts on the year overall, which you can give to after. I thought
Alright.
this year overall was. I know a lot of people felt underwhelmed by it, which is like really weird because this is also the year I saw people throw away the most stones. It's kind of like, what the fuck? Everyone thought this year sucked, but then there's like Harvey and like Dun here with us and Joe and like
1750.
Irby.
We got the 1750. We got
All
the,
these people
We got the
fucking throwing like
SAOV
10
100 gangly.
All these people throwing like 10 billion stones for what they are declaring to be, you know, the year with the most mid units. Like, are you sure? Are you awake? What the fuck? It's
I
like,
never said the units were mid, dude. Leave alone. Make the year worth it.
maybe, but Snowfight was certainly horrifically underwhelming. It was essentially as bad as this banner. In terms
Killed
of
all my
no
luck on that
concessions.
banner. Actually,
You certainly did.
I did one because I wanted I wanted just for the event booster, right? So it's like, okay, let's get a 4-star and call it a day, and then I ended up getting 3 Yoritorals. And I'm like, bro, it's over.
At least your Housamo will work well with your other magic damage dealers.
Smile. Yeah, like F Licho when he moves, right?
Wow, so cool.
Amazing. Thank you, Harvey, for that tech.
No. But yeah, Snowfight was a major flop. A new semester. Part 1 was complete bait, and number 2 had the strongest unit this year. I'd say Oscar. So I kind of feel bad I didn't pull from as much as I could have, but I was saving for Jurong, which paid off in the
I
end.
whiffed
But
on
still,
Oscar. That's why I'm a hater.
I believe.
Now you know why I hate him so much. I whiffed.
Yeah, Irby whiffed too. I believe he actually wasted over 1,000 stones from her or something, and then he like quit the games. Like, I quit Housamo forever, and then he came back when the Hikari happened.
Yeah, and then he got Gordon, and he maxed him out. Yada yada. Alright.
This fucking sim. He's like, no, Housamo's too tiring for me, and then he comes back and
Yeah, I might do that. I might do that. I might do that this
year.
year. I miss Qinglong. I rage quit for a few months.
Honestly,
And
if
he
you
comes
need to
back on a
rage quit
reprint.
briefly, that's fine. But you know, that's not like blaming the game for just bad luck. Shit happens. It happened to me last year, and thankfully, my patience paid off. But the event after was Jurassic, which was fantastic overall.
Disparage.
Well, never mind. Not
I don't- it was
overall.
fantastic
The music
for
was
you,
pretty
sir.
mid, but like, you know, Boogeyman was hot, and I mean, he could have been better. His kid. So shit.
Yeah,
God damn it.
Jurassic was good for you, sir.
You know what? I enjoyed getting Boogeyman twice in a single multi, so that was amazing, even if he's not an amazing kit. And, you know, I didn't get late, but I was never aiming for late, and I dipped out there when I got Boogie. So even though, you know, everyone shits on Boogie because he's not Labe, and I know it hurts because it's like
flopped.
Labe's in the same banner. It's like fucking Labe is like not even relevant anymore in terms of being the best of anything, just because now we have the best in terms of Qinglong now in terms of another board white amp.
Actually, he's the best at being hot.
I'm telling Nicho you said that.
Licho's cute. That's different.
Is it really though? Anyway,
Yeah, cute and hot's 2 different things.
I mean, they have a huge intersect. Well, for me, they do anyways. Anyways, there's also... What were the units even on that?
What was
Yeah,
after?
the 4 stars for that were kind of whatever. It's like Hecate and McCrake, and
Yeah.
Seepically was pretty like amazing in terms of art. That's rare. That was nice. But yeah,
His art is one of the best in the game, in my opinion. Like just like art style wise.
Yeah, it's a League of Legends artist apparently. Very cool.
Yeah, that's why it's so good.
Oh, I mean, it sticks out though because of the like over shading, like not like ugly over shading, but compared to everyone else. But you know, that's what I love about Housamo. Everyone has a different art style that's very significant. Almost some bizarro land, but I appreciate it nonetheless. And after that, we received the update in Marine, or short-lived for the speed update, which is a godsend. I can't even imagine playing with it now. When I'm forced to do those Evo quests, it's like hyper slow, but yeah, now we can skip all those effects. And with Marine, it's kind of mid, let's be real. Except for Behemoth, we had like Dagon's shit soul carrying and like Arsalan's calm clearing, Gonglei, but like worse. And Gonglei's not even that great to begin with. What was the other 4-star? Oh yeah, it was Golden Birthday who got that very undeserved nerf. So yeah, it was a bit of a flop, that Marine event. But Behemoth might have been a bit worth it. And then we ended off with Fkari as well as Oedo. What did you think about Fkari anyways?
Huh? Fkari? Oh, I kind of like died that event. Yeah, I think I'm the wrong person to ask about Fkari. I think you should ask Mr. Irby.
Yeah, I think he died in that event too for different reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why. 50%. Let's just say, is it 50? Is that the meme number?
I believe Milk also pulled a shit ton and didn't get Gordon in the end. And I need to rename this
double
kind
lock.
Yeah,
double lock 50%. Yeah,
he's convinced it's good. He's delusional, man. I mean, I don't know.
It's okay, you know, nothing's bad with Smokey, and
you can't even activate on first turn if you want him to be in the center because it was if unmoved restriction. It's so bad.
Okay, but that's just the problem with wide slash units.
Yes,
like
yes, and they don't have to be like that, but they are designed like that. I don't know
why.
What
LW can do, if they can add 4x speed, they can add wide slash units spawn in the middle.
They can, but they refuse to. I don't know why.
All they need to do is to add in kill.
Listen.
Wide slash units will now spawn in the middle. That's all they need to do. No. All the wide slash units become meta.
That's not true. What they could do instead, they already have column clears that can affect their entire column. Why not just have slash and long slash units affect the entire row in front of them, or rows in front of them? Why is it that shitty 5 squares only ahead of them, and then they can't even reach the opposite side? Why not just make it the entire like board on that one row? It's like, I don't know why they don't do that. It's so fucking bizarre.
Yeah, the moment they do that, units like the moment they do that, what's his name? Tonga 8.
Yeah, Tonga Megan.
Tonga 8 becomes legitimately god tier.
He would,
as good
yes,
as
but instead they made it like turn start and like low rates as you go further, closer or further away from the enemy, or from yourself rather. And also, it's that stupid 5 range thing. That's not the entire board from the side. It's ridiculous.
Yup, he has to be in the middle for some reason.
Terrible design overall. Ugh. Anyways, Fkari sucks. And Oedo was actually...
Fkari sucks.
We'll leave it at that.
They don't want to.
But yeah, Oedo...
Smoke doesn't want to hear.
Oedo at least was a fantastic way to end off the banner between, I mean, maybe not the 5 stars.
Masashi was good.
Oh yeah, there was Masashi and Quantum too. I mean, they're kind of whatever.
Masashi's good and Quantum's good. They're both good now.
I mean, Quantum's too big brain. I already forgot half her kit. I expected to forget half her kit. I didn't realize I forgot it this quickly though. Jesus Christ, it's like moving.
It was like half the time she does damage and half the time she does debuffs, something like that.
Now, half the time she's useful, and the other half you just forget what she does, and then you don't use her right.
Useful mode versus useless mode, yeah.
Like seriously, she's too complicated. I feel like Quantum's a rare unit that is designed to be like actually a liability just because they have too much things going on. Like they could be like excellent, but it's straight up not worth remembering when we have 10 million other units in this game that can do things far simpler and far more effectively at their like general state. Like seriously.
Masashi wins the end of the year though. Movement expansion good. Cute art.
I mean,
good buffs.
He definitely is nice to have as a centerpiece column clear. Although we've had quite a few now between Kurogane and Eita, much to the chagrin of everyone, or Nomad. But yeah, it's nice that we have Masashi now to make that extended movement a lot more accessible. And he also synergizes with those centerpieces. But yeah, I think Oedo was a good way to end off the year overall. Besides 5 stars, which were shit, everyone can accessibly get those horse and a Turing, which were both bangers, and also the music was great. And you know, it was a relatively brief event, as expected for Christmas, because they have to squeeze an anniversary as well. But as a result, it didn't overstay its welcome, which is nice.
Yep.
So, weak start.
Overall, good year.
But strong finish for sure, yeah.
honestly, like the 4X change alone just made the year like better than 2022.
I'm so vindicated for that 4X change. Everyone's like, oh, well, you know, you're farming the wrong quest, or you're doing everything like less efficiently. And I'm just like, I'm waiting. I know that speed change is going to come. I can farm Ramu with no problems whatsoever with 2 C boosters, and now I have 2 Blossom boosters to be ready for Chapter 15. So I'm.
Because it's like back then on 3X, you knew what I was doing. You knew how I was optimizing animation speed.
Done. Everyone was doing that. You thought you were on something you were, but you cooked something that everyone already knew about the time. It was literally just game speed optimization and like saying fuck charges. Everyone needs to do just a regular attacks. It was like a very common strat that must have been very apparent. Yeah.
And then they killed it, which is good because now that means you can actually use your favorites who happen to charge.
Yeah, I'm glad I can just use charges and not even think it's a problem anymore. I don't even think about like.
Yeah, you use wrong haver. Yeah. I know that's exactly what you want. You paid LW for that, so you use wrong everywhere. Something like that.
Maybe.
I knew what you were up to. Paid him off.
Exposed. Okay, I think we have covered this year in full, and good impressions overall, even though everyone's been down about how it was bad. So, should I read the chat, or would you like to read the final chat comments and then before I close the stream?
You could do it. That's true.
Work delegation to me as usual. Alright, where were we even at? Jesus Christ. Lamau Shiro. That's it. Okay, but Shiro. What do you mean, based? Still sad Hakuman didn't get a skill evolution last year. That is peculiar, but she never got rate up in any banner this past year anyways, so it's fine. Like, if she wasn't rate up, then there's not really a reason to give her an Evo, besides if she was featured for a variant in some event, which Valentine Panic did not, or Valentine Jail did not reprint, of course, either, so really no reason, unless she was featured in something. But I'm pretty sure she wasn't even featured in Pickup. Great job! You're never going on stream again. Done as your replacement. Joe, I'm screwing over with you. I would like you back on stream.
No, we're forcing him back.
What?
We're forcing him back, whether he likes it or not.
I like Joe for Joe to join the stream again. I don't know why he choked so hard. I like poking fun on it because he overhyped himself and then completely choked hard. But like, if he sees this as an opportunity to boost his confidence and, you know, he actually works on the effort, I'd like for him to join again and to actually succeed, rather than forever give up on any chance of redeeming himself and, you know, making himself a doormat. I'm forever not gonna be good. That's not healthy, or that's not the best. I'd like to see better for Joe. But, you know, just be ready this time and not just be like, he's a calm clear and that's about it. The Hemus moment. He's not even that good of a calm clear unless he has his charge up. Also, you can do things with Gonglei. Oz. That's pretty much all you can do with him. Womp. Envari causes the market crash of 2023. It's over. Everyone has to have 2 Envaris on their support list now, and if they don't, then they're not playing the game properly. The jealousy is leaking out. What? Think about me? Oh, you shouldn't have. You rolled every banner. They're mid, but you still want it. I wanted to pull every banner, and I actually think I did pull every banner, at least a few tickets, but a lot of them I didn't even do any multis. Labe ruined your year. I think he ruined a lot of people's years. If not him, then, well, he ruined Dun's at least. And, sorry, Dun. Maybe next year? I don't know.
No, I'm not pulling anymore. I'm gonna just wait. I think it'll only take a year or 2 before he shows up on a selector.
What if he gets like a date quest banner and he's just right up with this variant?
Nope. Never falling for that shit ever again.
I hear date quest banners actually have rate up, or that's even higher than normal rate up, so who knows?
Yeah, because it's only one. It's only one character and not 2, so
yeah, so
they
it's
both
worth it,
go
right?
into 1. So
it's like Qinglong banner's only 1.
No, not happening.
He's quitting cigarettes and he's quitting Lab today.
1750,
and no more. 1750 and no more. You heard it here first, folks.
I am not reaching 2,000. That is too cursed.
Because you aren't as sexy as me, duh. Well, you're gonna have to take that up with fisticuffs. You hated Snowfight? You kept getting the pink poodle puff, Tanatomo, and 2 Yoritomos instead of a Jacob. Now you're never gonna roll again. I mean, at least Yoritomo is quite good straight up. You have to make an argument for Jacob being good, which, you know, it ends up being a good argument, but at least Yoritomo is more obviously good. Hated Snowfight? Give me every banner you twice before getting Tanatomo once. Wow, that is true desire sensor. Snow flop. Also, mid story from what you read, less than mid in your opinion, but nice, and giving it a good himself for translation. I see. Yeah, honestly, this is part of the reason why I don't read fan translations. I remember Gendarme actually reading quite well. When I read the fan translation, it was very negative and pessimistic and kind of sarcastic about how the story turned out. But it's like, just give it like a proper translation and a localization. It ends up being pretty good just by, you know, all the sounds and the voices and the research beyond every character being done during the translation. Summer banners are usually meta and eye-candy. Thank goodness Oz is both. Honestly, in my opinion, Oz is kind of mid in terms of art, but yes, he's very good for Kidvo. Ara slandering Lei while he's still stuck in chapter 13 and every other mentor is living in the future and using him. Checkmate, bitch. I am living in the future with max C boost for this chapter and now max plus boost ready for chapter 14. And you guys won't be able to enjoy that because you'll be moving on to probably, I don't know, certificate farming or some shit like that. So get ready for it.
You say that shit, but you're still a year behind, so calm down, buddy.
I'm not a year behind in terms of seeds. I'm ahead of everyone in that sense. So, goals.
Yeah, but who even uses seeds anymore?
I do. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, it is good for me. That's what I thought.
Good for you.
Yeah, it is good for me. Shut up. Exactly, got his ass. Okay, but Fast Harvey. No. Afkari 2 might be the biggest bait banner you've ever seen. Fafnir and 3 trash hits. Gordon's not too trash. He's just extremely disappointing for what could have been. It's just not Gordon himself, but a design trend that he represents that's just fucking awful with long slash units. Like, make all snipe and shot units perfect for farming, but make anyone slash or long slash completely unusable for farming. Like, why? Quantum works like Turing. I mean, I know how Turing works, and I know how Quantum works, so that's, like, untrue. What the fuck? What? That's not even remotely true. What the fuck? It puts damage reversal on herself. Oh, you mean... What? Turing doesn't do damage reversal on themselves, do they?
He's talking about the AR, right?
I would... That's like... heal loss reversal. Yeah, Yuzhou is something probably gonna... It's just Shou being Shou. She's like immortal on one side and applies logic bomb, but better, and the other side she attacks bows and weapons and throws a bunch of debuffs and some buffs. And so, well, first off, it's he. Don't mean to mansplain you, Zalgus, but also, oh, are you talking about Quantum? I don't even know what you're doing. I thought you were talking about Turing, but actually maybe that's still true for Quantum because I heard something was off with the genre, but that just might be the game theater being fucked again. There you go, it's promoting R again, Eita. What are you talking about? Our mind is too strong. R in the pocket of Big Eita. Everyone needs to believe he's powerful, and I will make my grab bag ticket worth it to prove it. Or time speed is king. She got a date quest last year. We love a good redemption arc for Zhou. Yeah, I'd love to see it too. Stop. Zhou, don't deny. You can definitely change. You can improve. Be the change you want to see. Done said Satch. Did he actually? I didn't even notice. I just tuned him out when he says those things. He said Twitch mode. Was this true?
Yeah, that was one time.
On record here.
You gotta give me one. You gotta give me one, bro.
I think everyone just like shook after hearing your voice after presuming you'd sound like Harvey. And now you just sound like a Twitch auto-tune bot. OMG.
I'm not him. I'm not him.
Yeah, you certainly aren't Mr. Not Lab ever 1750 stones. Join me in the 2K Stone Club. Actually, I guess you are quite like him. With his
I don't want to join him in it. I don't think that's a good thing if I join him in the 2000 Stones Club.
Just chatting stream real. Yeah, I mean, it's like the year-end banner, so might as well talk about it. Plus, I want to talk as much as I can with Din, since I don't know when the next time he'll be joining any sort of discussion is. It's nice to hear him talk with us. But yeah. You're unsubbing from the channel and never coming back because of this Ossetter. He's pretty mid. He's like fucking paddling in a tiny swimming pool. Is that supposed to be hot? Like, jeez.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Is like you're supposed to be with him. It's like, oh
paddling
my
in a swimming pool.
God.
Oh my gosh, this kiddie pool's so fun. Oz, why don't you kiss me in the swimming pool and next we can kiss in the playground? What the fuck?
Yeah.
No thanks.
I don't know. Let him cook.
Just like swing and tweeting about it as you speak. Sure. You spun around a minute while you guys are talking. Yeah, huh? No. You still shill Summer Taji again for long slash units even though you don't use them anymore. I mean, at least his rates for his damage is reliable even if his charge flow isn't. Ours only dissing Oz because the line is Green Alien Trek's favorite unit or something. No. I agree that with Alien Trek, rarely that Oz is actually, you know, one of the best units in the game. You don't remember this, sorry, but I think you vaguely mentioned something that I'd never gave anyone 5-star before. That wasn't true. The first unit I gave 5-star was, other than Walter, was actually Oz. But it was a very different format back then when it was the very first video, of course. But yeah, Oz definitely is deserving of that 5-star rating. He doesn't sound like him. That's what you mean by turning the logic on and reverse damage thing. Confusion, but it's just show. So, very pretty art. You're stargazing with him. I mean, we're not really stargazing. He's like looking at his feet or something. Not y'all attacking me for trying to explain it. You have this. Okay. Well, that's it for the stream. Thank you for joining, everyone. And
thank you for joining. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, why?
Thank you for listening to us ramble.
Why don't you close up the stream, Jen? Go ahead.
I mean, what can I say though? You already said it.
Be like, thank you for joining, everyone, and hearing my wonderful voice. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and send it to all your
subscribe,
friends.
Follow him.
Be sure to share with all your friends.
So you can send me money on my PayPal.
And my pals, or at least my what's called coffee is in the description. If you want to send some there or join as a member, I don't know. Support me. I'm poor as fuck.
Help him out. He's a brokey. He needs his Qinglong copies.
Seriously. Okay, maybe not that. I have 1 copy already. But yeah.
No, he needs one. He needs 5. He needs 5 more, chat.
No. We'll stop there. No, I'm good with the boobs. Okay. We're heading out now, so on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye. Fucking jokester. Done!
What?
Okay. Yeah, I should have invited someone else. See you guys, bye.